Hello and welcome to Big Dash Knows. Big Dash knows what? New York Giants football. Let's go. You see the thumbnail. There's a couple of things I want to talk about. As a Giants fan, not just a Giants content creator, but as a Giants fan, I'm also a fan of other Giants content creators. You know, I'm a consumer of Giants information. So, whether it's YouTube, IG, Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, Facebook, I am a consumer of Giants football or football news, anything that has to do with Giants. And what I normally do, you know, start my day, hop on the phone, you know, go through IG, go through Twitter. You know, I filter to all the Giants news and I just run down the timeline and I'm looking up different things that people are saying, people's opinions, some stuff like that. And you know what? I did it, you know, in one of the previous videos. I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna talk about some of the stuff that I've seen, scrolled, read. For example, one of the questions out there was the fact and fiction from Fireside Giants. You know, could Malik Nabers beat Odell Beckham's rookie receiving yard record for the Giants? That was one thing. Azeez Ojulari's role on his defense. Could he be a trade option for the New York Giants? That's another thing. The power rankings from FanDuel. It's just a couple things that I wanted to talk about, you know, and I'm going to do that in this video. So, you know what? Do me a favor, hit that like and subscribe button if you're a New York Giants fan. The way that I'm a New York Giants fan, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. The channel is growing, and it's all because of you guys. So before I actually get started with those topics, I do want to say this, acknowledge this. Some good news, some great news, and it has to do with former New York Giants Michael Strahan's daughter, Isabella Strahan. I saw an article, a post from Patty Traynor. She is cancer-free. Fantastic. That's fabulous news. That's fantastic news. And I just pray that, you know, that holds up. Pray that she can continue to be healthy and cancer-free. But that was just some good news that I thought I would spotlight here on the show. So that was great news to hear. So getting into it. So the first thing I want to talk about is Dan Duggan's article about Azeez Ojulari, or his post about Azeez Ojulari and how he fits into this defense, if he does fit into this defense, and could he be a possible trade candidate. Now, I'll say this, and some people talked about it in the space the other day as well, in the spaces on Twitter as well, and they were talking about possibly trading Azeez Ojulari. Some people might have mentioned, you know, definitely not wanting to trade him before the season starts, but possibly, depending on how the season goes, you know, trading him at the deadline to see what you can get for him. And when I think about that, I think about how New York Giants fans have been down in the dumps for so long that it's all about, you know, what can I get for this guy before, you know, the situation that happened with McKinney, the situation that happened with Saquon Barkley. You just don't want people to walk and get nothing back for them. So I think we have been conditioned now to, you know, oh, he could be pretty good, so let's go ahead and see what we can get for him. How about we go ahead and try to sign this guy back next year? How about that? How about we try to sign Azeez Ojulari back next year? It's not too many teams that have a guy that's their third rotational edge, as good as Azeez Ojulari can be. Now, the main issue with Azeez Ojulari is he can't stay healthy. But with him not being able to stay healthy, I think his price comes down. I think he becomes more affordable, you know, for this defense, because you have Brian Burns already signed, got his money. You have Kayvon Thibodeau, you know, 2 more years with him, and then also the 5th-year option is most likely going to get picked up. But then you have Azeez Ojulari, and he can't, in my opinion, he can't ask for a lot of money unless he just goes out this year in a rotational role and just blows it out the water. I think that Azeez Ojulari can be somebody that the New York Giants can fit into the fold and keep as a part of the Giants moving forward, because having a good rotational group or a good rotation on the defensive front is ideal to what the New York Giants like to do. Just think about the years we won the Super Bowl. It wasn't just the starters that was getting after it. It was a lot of those rotational guys making big plays and big opportunities or big times during games that helped the New York Giants, you know, win these Super Bowls. And that goes from the 80s all the way up to the 2000s. So Azeez Ojulari, for me, definitely a guy that I want to keep. Definitely a guy that needs to stay healthy and be able to be on the field. When I looked at his snaps for last year, he only had 424 total snaps last year. And again, at this point in time, he was penciled in as the starter. We already know, had issues with the calf, had issues with the ankle, this, that, and the third, But when he's on the field, when he's healthy, the man is disruptive. He can make plays. A good pass rusher. And again, you don't want to get rid of those type of guys. So for me, I'm absolutely keeping Azeez Ojulari. If the New York Giants stink at the deadline and Azeez Ojulari is doing fantastic, do I think about trading him? Absolutely. That's one thing. If we don't feel like we can afford him, or because he's had an outstanding season, and we already know that Kayvon Thibodeau and Brian Burns is a guy, and all of a sudden he's getting offered like $10 to $12 million a year. That's something that's totally different. But right now, the way that I see Azeez Ojulari fighting for snaps in a rotational role, he should be highly affordable for the New York Giants moving forward. So that's my thoughts on Dan Duggan's post on his article in regards to Azeez Ojulari. NASCAR package, you can work him in on that. Third and longs for sure. If you can have him, Brian Burns, and Tibbs all on the field at the same time with Dexter Lawrence in the middle, I think that's a fantastic option to have. But again, that's my thoughts on Azeez Ojulari. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think about that article for Dan Duggan. If you read it yourself, go ahead and check it out. And I would like to know what you guys think about that. Do you keep Azeez Ojulari? Do you trade Azeez Ojulari? Let me know how you guys feel about that in the comments down below. Next thing I want to talk about is a fact or fiction. This came from Fireside Giants. I was scrolling down Twitter and I saw a fact or fiction. Does Malik Nabers beat Odell Beckham's rookie receiving yard record for the Giants? 1,300 yards. I'm going to say a quick answer to this. I think this fiction. I don't think that Malik Nabers can beat that record of Odell Beckham's, and it's for a couple of reasons. This is not a knock on Malik Nabers at all. Super explosive, can make a playmaker for sure. The main difference between those two guys is one had Eli Manning, one has Daniel Jones. And again, we can go back and forth on Daniel Jones all you want. I can even go back and forth on Eli Manning because I believe that Odell Beckham extended Eli Manning's career, those last 3 years because of how good of a superstar Odell Beckham was. But to me, I don't think that with what's going on with the New York Giants now, that Malik Nabers can first of all, get those type of targets. And Odell Beckham actually did that, and I think he missed like the first 4 games of the season, but he did miss the first 4 games of the season. He came back for the Atlanta game. I believe that was week 5. Yeah, if memory serves me right. But I just think that the circumstances doesn't say that. I will say this though, as a New York Giants fan, I absolutely hope he does. I hope Malik Nabers goes for 1,600 yards, not just 1,300 yards, 1,600 yards, sets all type of records, and in the same fashion of the LSU wide receivers that came before him, the Jamar Chases, the Justin Jeffersons, the Odell Beckhams, all those LSU wide receivers, the greats. Go ahead, I hope he can do that. So I'm rooting for him to beat Odell Beckham's record, but I don't think he will. The next thing, let me know what you think about that in the comment section down below. So the other thing I want to talk about is just some of the mock drafts that I'm seeing for 2025 already. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because, again, I can't really even think about 2025. But I just want to make a quick comment. I'm seeing a lot of mock drafts that have the New York Giants picking number 1 overall. And I will say this. First of all, no games have been played yet. We're not even in training camp yet. We don't know what these teams are going to look like. And there's always a surprise team that's absolutely awful, and then also a surprise team that makes it to the playoffs. But I'm going to say this too. The New York Giants aren't lucky enough to get the number 1 pick. When have we ever been lucky enough to get the number 1 pick? So with that being said, you guys can take the mock drafts and put the New York Giants at number 1 and you can shove it. You can shove it. I don't care, but I'm just seeing a lot of it, so I wanted to make a quick comment about it. All right, so the next thing I saw was it was PFF predicting that Devin Singletary can get 1,100 yards. And this is where the confusion begins with me, because you have a lot of people that are down on the Giants. You have a lot of people ranking the Giants, dead last, and things like that. Offensive 31st ranked offense, this, that, and the third. And in most cases, we earn those rankings. But then you still see people that post predictions of Devin Singletary getting 1,100 yards. And for me, I'm like, well, which one is it? Are we absolutely terrible with the 31st ranked offense, or 32nd, that last offense? Or is it a team where a guy like Devin Singletary can get 1,100 yards? Barkley didn't even crack that last year. You know what I mean? So I think that a lot of people, because it's popular to be down on the Giants, to bet against the Giants, especially right now, you see it all over sports media. There's still some people that look at get down to the meat of things and look at the Giants like, you know what? Yeah, there's not a lot of good here, but I see the pieces here, and if things come together, there could be some success there. So that's why I think that PFF is predicting Devin Singletary to have 1,100 yards. Let me know in the comments down below if you think that Devin Singletary can have 1,100 yards rushing this season. And then the last thing I'm going to talk about, and this goes along with the previous two things that I talked about, with all our bad rankings and, 31st, 32nd, and having the first overall pick in 2025. I saw a post from FanDuel. They had their, way too early power rankings, and they ranked the New York Giants 21st in the power rankings. That's eye-opening to me, because again, as a Giants fan, you're reading everything outside and everybody's so down. And like 21st is not even fantastic. 21st is not a fantastic ranking to have. That's just below middle of the pack, right? So, but a lot of people saying that the New York Giants are the worst team in NFL, but you can have a power ranking, and this is just one power ranking from FanDuel, having us at in the 21st spot, and that's eye-opening to me, because it lets me know that a lot of people feel the same way that I feel about the New York Giants. It's an unknown. It's a lot of uncertainty. It's a lot of things to prove. We do have a record of being, we did perform poorly last year. We did have injuries last year. And this year, you're hoping that everybody comes back healthy. You hope that the offensive line is improved with the free agency linemen that were brought in, that were signed and added to the roster, adding Malik Nabers, a Daniel Jones with a full season, the defense being better, this, that, and the third, and everything coming together. And you can see that not everybody is so down on the New York Giants. It's just a popular thing to be down on the New York Giants. And I'm seeing rankings like 21st, from FanDuel, and it's, it makes me feel good. It's eye-opening. Do I believe it right now? I don't believe anything right now. The New York Giants have to earn everything this year in order to be in order to be looked in that same light of being respectable, even watchable, and not the laughing stock of the NFL. And I think that's what the New York Giants need to prove this year. Even if we don't make a playoff run, we need to be respectable, we need to be watchable, and we need to be not the laughing stock of the entire NFL, which I don't think we are anyway. But again, I'm just a guy on YouTube and a serious New York Giants fan. But that's going to be the video. Just want to talk about some of the things that I read, saw, and wanted to comment on. And again, let me know in the comments down below what you think about the subjects that I talked about in this video. So with that being said, I want to thank everybody for vibing with me. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And from one Giants fan to another, this is Big Dash Knows, Big Blue Nation. Let's go.